Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, it was our fault. We made a mistake. Spotter said it was clear. It wasn't clear, and, I didn't want to tear my car up, tear his car up either. I respect everybody, and I demand respect. And, I apologized to the guy when he came over the car, explained to him what happened, and then he took it to another level when he started calling me an idiot and whatever else. And I don't appreciate that. I'm not going to take it. I told him how I felt. I called him out. He didn't show. And so, I'm good with it if he's good with it, but I'm not going to be disrespected by no means.
Yeah, I guess I had a dinner date at Applebee's last night that I didn't find out about until it was too late. It's a shame. Love their riblets and boneless wings, but...
All right, folks, welcome back to Meet Me at Applebee's, your number one unrefined motorsports podcast. It's Brian here with Rob and Ashley. And we've got, let's see, Dover. I don't even know how to describe the races, but we'll get into that. And then a bunch of sprint car chaos to talk about. So, folks, how are we doing this week?
I'm doing well, Brian. Just getting the last of my bags packed and shipping off to Finland tomorrow. I got a nice 21-hour journey ahead of me that'll culminate in a visit to the Helsinki airport McDonald's as soon as I get there. I guess we're staying at a hotel right there, and the closest restaurant to the front door is, of course, a McDonald's. So I'm going to do the most American thing possible and probably end up there. But I don't know. There's a lot of time in between now and then, and we got some racing to talk about. But how about you, Truelove? You got a McDonald's in your future?
No, I hate McDonald's.
Nice.
I mean, support their sponsorship. I appreciate that, but I do not like eating there. But yeah, we're here a night early.
That's right. It is a night early.
Get this over with.
Yeah, it does. And thank you, everybody, for allowing this. We're recording a night early because, like I said, I got a long journey tomorrow, and there's really no way for me to record a podcast. We tried doing it from an airport before, and it just doesn't work.
A lot of background noise.
Yeah, and Terminal 7 at JFK doesn't seem like the kind of place where I'd want to do a podcast to begin with. But
yeah.
So thanks for your understanding. Y'all won't even notice, I'm sure. I thought it was Tuesday. Who knows?
We might miss a little breaking news here and there, but
yeah.
Well, I feel like, all the drivers are out of the hospital, and all the lawsuit news seems to have broken, so hopefully there won't be any other news the next couple days, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see.
There were races at Dover, yeah.
I didn't see any of it.
Nope,
so.
Me either.
Oh,
Did you, Truelove?
I watched it, yes.
Okay.
Looked like a decent car count. I'll say that.
Well, Butterbean was on the pole, and he led, I'm pretty sure, every lap.
Perfect. Awesome.
Close enough. And then he won. Brent Cruz did have a pretty nasty wreck from a tire going down, and when he hit the wall, his car just burst into flames.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah. Isabella finished third. Good
Oh,
for
no
her.
shit. That's awesome.
And then Monster Jam driver finished second. So
Who was it?
I mean,
mix up top.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you hear Monster Jam driver and all those folks, they come from very different walks of life, and there are a handful of drivers that come from, like, the dirt track world and, like, rally racing and motorcycles and shit. So I guess it's not totally surprising to hear a driver finish second in an ARCA race.
Is that Camden Murphy?
Camden Murphy. I didn't look up his background. I just looked up his truck, which was a school bus with flames.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, Bean Nation, 4th win of the year.
Hell yeah.
Well, it sounds like he's probably going to get the title, which is good, and I can't imagine, like, who else even, Sawalich maybe, I think, or Brent Cruz, I guess, would be competitors, but...
yeah, Brent, probably. Also, I'm looking at the results now. Shout out to Timmy Hill getting 6th place. Mm-hmm. Good for him. Everyone loves to see that.
The Intimidator.
I haven't heard that one before.
No, that was his name during the pandemic when he won that fly racing.
Yeah, when he won it from the desk of a Holiday Inn. The fucking business center.
That's great.
Hell yeah, the Intimidator.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, ARCA. That's the most we've ever talked about ARCA on this show.
No, that is very much not true. I guarantee we've talked more about ARCA on this show. I know we have. But that's
in a
enough,
while.
though. 'Cause
Yeah, that's certainly more than enough.
yeah.
That's all I got.
Xfinity race. Let's see. Again, this is something I didn't really watch. I did see Truex was there to support his brother Ryan, who unfortunately did not get a repeat performance of his last 2 victories at the track, which is a bummer. But he also wasn't in a Gibbs car this time, so that could be why.
So what happened, Truelove?
Yeah, what happened?
No,
You
I
watched it.
watched this
Nope.
either. Let's see. Yeah, Martin Truex was there. He ignored everyone. Taylor Gray was on the pole, and then once Zillage got the lead, that was pretty much all she wrote.
Yeah, it rained, right?
It did rain on lap 133, and they called it at 7 because of the light situation.
Damn.
I really don't have anything to say about this race. I mean, Zillage led all the laps after he got the lead. I mean, Almirola was second, so it might have come down to a battle between those two if it went back green, but it didn't.
Yeah, I'll
so.
take Connor over that. I don't mean to see that.
There was a great shot after the race of Dale Jr. walking down pit road alone, super casual in his khakis and polo shirt with a can of Busch Light in one hand and a jar of pickles in the other hand.
Hell yeah.
Surprised he didn't have his fucking jerky that he won't shut up about.
Well, it was probably in his pocket.
He's a jerky guy now?
Yeah, he bought into a jerky company called Jerky Boys, which off the bat, that's some copyright infringement as far as I'm concerned. But it is what it is. I'm sure it's fine. It at least looks better than like the Jack Link's shit. But I personally, there is a local wrestler that I'm friends with who makes beef jerky, and he sells it at the wrestling shows, and it's the best shit I've ever had in my life. So it's got to beat that.
Nice.
But
What kind of jerky? Is it the real thin kind, or is it like a more thick, robust?
it's like thin kind. I don't really know how to describe the flavor of it. It's pretty standard beef jerky flavor.
Yeah.
Surprising, he isn't really, it's wrestling fans, so he doesn't make it too spicy because, a lot of wrestling fans have baby palates and just eat chicken nuggets and pizza all day.
Yeah. Very fair.
Mm-hmm.
Hell
In
yeah.
my 20s, I had a, what is it called? Dehumidifier, and I used to make my own jerky. That shit was good.
Yeah, my grandpa, the last couple of years before he passed, he was getting into jerky, and he'd make like venison jerky and stuff, and it was always really good.
yeah.
But nobody in the family kept that up after he passed.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of work, and
Yeah, it's a lot.
you kind of have to hunt for it to really make a difference. If you're buying meat to make jerky, then yeah, that's a money pit right there.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, that was jerky talk here on Meet Me at Applebees, a restaurant where they don't serve beef jerky. My favorite is Whip City from up here. It's super thin. You can see through it when you hold it up to a light. It's like nothing I've ever had before, and their Cajun is super good. It's my favorite racetrack snack. And you can find it at all your local Big Y locations here in the New England area, so come check it out.
All right.
That could be your business, folks, if you want to give us some money. I'll pull ad reads out of my ass all day.
Moving on to Sunday.
Great. Speaking
Which I did.
speaking of shitty, I was going to say copyright infringement, but this isn't even close to that, I guess.
It's just slop.
Yeah.
So before the race even started, Ryan Blaney's, whoever his PR person is, decided to make a nice shitty AI picture in honor of the Dover race, and instead of Dover, Delaware, they used Dover, New Hampshire in the photo.
Yeah. Doesn't have a racetrack, by the way.
It was only up for about 10 minutes because I saw this and I saw a million comments already about how bad this was, and then I sent it to you guys, and then it was immediately deleted. So at least they caught it very quick. I'll give them that, but it's still a shitty AI drawing.
They corrected it and put Dover, Delaware, but they still kept the shitty AI, scenic background of New Hampshire with, the, quaint church and...
Yeah.
Well,
stuff,
Dover
so.
is that area of Delaware is a little more rural than you would think. I mean,
Not New
granted,
Hampshire. It does
It's
not
New
look like
Hampshire,
that.
no. It's-
I've been there, and I just remember being just real shitty.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's like Jersey without all the fucking tanks and the stink. That's what Dover's like.
well, there are two.
it's real hot.
Yeah.
There's a wrestling tag team from Delaware. Unfortunately, the brother was killed in a car accident a couple years ago, but the other one still wrestles. And these guys are chicken farmers, and they sound like they're from like the deepest part of West Virginia, but they're in Delaware, and they are crazy chicken farmers. So they're for as tiny of a little state as it is, it's got its rural parts.
Oh yeah, you're not wrong about that. There is country out there, but it just
Yeah.
it doesn't look
Just
like
not
fucking New
at the
Hampshire.
casino. Yeah.
No. Let's see. So, granted, so you've got this SVG note here is SVG grows hair, which is, it's funny because I don't know which F1 driver did they use for this photo.
JJ Yaley.
That's JJ Yaley.
Yes.
Doesn't even look like JJ Yaley.
It's
JJ
JJ
Yaley has a
Yaley.
beard now.
Yeah, JJ Ely from many
Old
moons
picture
ago.
of him.
Yeah, many years ago. Well, it's funny you mentioned him growing hair, but I remember seeing within the last week or two some photos of him from his Australian days, and he had hair before. And he looked
looks
pretty
terrible
good.
with hair.
Yeah.
I thought he looked fine with hair.
No, because he had a baby face with it. It's the baby face that ruins it, I think. He needs the scruff to cover his face.
I'll take your word on this one as the woman on the show who judges men in a different way than me.
Maybe we saw two different pictures.
I mean, the F1 joke here came from, I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but there was like a practice session or something where they had JJ Yaley up on the screen and described him as being the 2009 Formula One world champion, like on the Fox broadcast, which he was not. Didn't come close.
No. Let's see. So as far as this race itself, so yeah, I had this on in the car driving home from New York, and I was able to catch the last full stage at home. So I did see the majority of this race, and it was pretty boring for the most part. I mean, it was chase out front. It was a fresh track. They didn't get to practice or qualify on Saturday because it rained. So that, the track had no rubber on it.
So that's how
Dover-
SVG got sixth on the grid.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how he
Okay.
got sixth on the grid. This track, unfortunately, it suffers from the aero problems that other tracks do as far as passing and stuff is concerned. Not that there wasn't any passing going on, but nobody could really touch Chase for the majority of the race. Until the end. I don't know. Truelove, you're the Chase fan. What the hell happened to him at the end? And I see you're pissed off at his crew chief.
I'm pissed off, yes. Chase led 238 laps, and then Alan Gustafson decided that he fucking hates me, I guess, and
They said it on the
brought-
broadcast.
I thought I heard it on the radio. He brought Chase down to pit from the lead like 10 laps after he had just pitted for 2 right side tires instead of 4, or just leaving him out there like Hamlin stayed out there. And that just screwed his day. So, Alan Gustafson, you will be hearing from my lawyer for ruining my birthday week.
Listen, you got to see him win at home. Don't get too upset. Denny, you saw him
I
win
can
at
get
home
upset
at his
all I
home
want.
track.
I can get upset as many times as I want.
Listen.
When Alan Gustafson pulls a Coke 600 2020 bullshit call again to
I don't think
That was
Get him from the
confusing.
lead.
It was definitely on a day where, Goodyear brought a different set of rubber in there, which, I mean, they asked Kyle Larson about it, and he's like, I couldn't tell the fucking difference between any of this. And these tires were just really not wearing out all that much for most people. So I don't understand what he was doing either. I didn't mind it, obviously, but
course you didn't.
I can understand why that would make you flip a table into the wall as a Chase
Yeah.
Elliott fan, because I don't understand that one.
I don't think it really would have mattered because I think Denny had it at that point.
I don't think so. I think track position
listen.
mattered, and Chase would have been out front, and that would have been
Yeah.
it.
I would argue that Bell was probably the car that had more of a shot at chasing him down naturally. But
but he had
Bell kept stepping on his own penis.
He was having a Larson day.
Yeah, it was a day that I've suffered through many times as a Kyle Larson fan, but the Bell fans got to experience that.
Yeah, just fast, but just too fast over the edge, and spun him. I just can't believe he got out of that second spin without getting wrecked.
That was crazy.
He was still. I wasn't bummed to see Byron get fucked up, but I could not believe he survived that second one. That was pretty wild.
Really, this was all Andy Newsom's fault for being at the racetrack.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. You can talk about tires or strategy all you want, but the fact is,
none of that matters.
Nobody has an ace in the hole quite like Denny Hamlin does in Andy Newsom, which, as you know, if you've listened to the show before or ever seen this guy on the internet, anytime he rolls up to a racetrack, you can pretty much write the check to Denny Hamlin, even though NASCAR doesn't write checks anymore, but if they did.
So it's true, but he's been to a race this year that Denny didn't win, correct?
I think one race he went to.
Yeah. So
Denny didn't win.
At the very least, my winning percentage for Denny wins is higher than his this year, because I'm a 2 for 2, and I got Iowa next week. So, not that I want to see Denny win again.
I don't think you have the body of work to compete with Andy just yet.
It's true. No, trust me. He is the actual Hamlin fan. I'm just saying this year it's been a Hamlin year for me. 2 years ago it was a Byron year for me. I think like almost every race I went to is Byron wins. So
yeah, I've seen a few.
I'd much rather see Hamlin win, personally.
Yeah, especially in light of all the lawsuit shit, which I guess we'll get to in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely felt like the reason that NASCAR tried the track for 15 laps.
There was a lot of chatter on Twitter about that. If it was anybody else but Denny, NASCAR would have just called it then. Yeah. But
personally, I'm glad they did. I think they should make every effort they can to finish the race.
For sure, especially when
especially when it's Denny Hamlin leading the race, though.
Well, it was the radar was showing it was a very short shower, and it only took them. It was like a 45-minute break for again for only 14 laps, but it created an interesting finish. We had a couple cautions, we had a couple green-white checkers.
Yeah, Noah Gragson's bad year continuing.
Yeah, which he got jinxed too, because during the break, the rain delay there, they talked to him about how good he was at Dover, and he did good there last year, and and then he showed himself on TV airing his balls and comparing himself to Mark Martin. So that I think is what jinxed him, truthfully.
Yeah, that was the Lord himself coming in and stopping that from happening.
Yeah.
I watched this race out on the patio again. Had some folks over, so I was kind of half watching it because there were kids around. But I did get to use my new misting fan kit to explain aerodynamics to a child, so that was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I had him stand in front of it, and then I got in front of him, and it's like, see, you're not getting wet now? That's exactly what's happening with these cars right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very Bill Nye afternoon out there on the patio. But yeah, I'm glad NASCAR got that in. They should be doing that. I don't see how there's a reason how you could bitch about that unless you're a fan of a driver who didn't win, who would have won otherwise, which I don't think that was the case in this race.
Yeah, not at that point. Alan had already ruined it for us by then.
Yeah, he was already on a van on his way out of there because he heard Truelove was getting in the car and heading up to Dover to the rolling hills and countryside. Dover, New Hampshire.
I've been to Dover one time, and I got sunburned through my jeans, so I don't think I'll be back.
It looks tough. Wait, through your jeans?
Through my jeans, I got sunburned.
Jesus Christ.
I've never heard that in my life.
No.
I did get to see Chase Elliott win, though.
Yeah, it track's about 5 hours from me. It is drivable, and the fact that there's a casino literally attached to it, like a combination Taco Bell, KFC, is very attractive to me, but I just have never... It does look like a tough afternoon if the sun is baking down on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Dover's a track that I'll go back and I've watched plenty of old races there too, and the track's always kind of been like not necessarily the most exciting races in the world. It's definitely more of a driver's track, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like as bad of a viewing experience as Indy, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Also, shout out Ty Dillon, making his way through the bracket challenge yet again.
Yeah, I can't.
By
it
one
really-
position.
Yeah, it was. They were. It was. Those two were like next to each other for probably the last half of the race, and it was just like back and forth. Like,
Yeah. Watching
know,
a battle
one-
for $1 million, a lap down.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Perfect.
well, and what's interesting is Ty actually has a fairly decent record the last few years at Indy. Like he won. He
His
won
only
an
win.
Xfinity car years ago, but then he's
It's
also
only
he's got like
Xfinity
a.
win.
Oh, it's only okay,
think
but he's
so.
got like a decent like it's less in the teens I think as far as his average finish there. So
Yeah, that 10
interesting.
car doesn't
Very interesting.
totally suck. It's not a fluke that he's in the position that he's in. I mean, obviously he's not that fast, but he's had some top 15, top 20 runs this year, and that's really
He's-
all it
yeah.
takes, especially when you're going up against fucking Ty Gibbs, right? Is that the other guy?
Yeah,
Ty
which
versus
Ty has been. He's been a lot better this year, but he's still not winning. But he's got speed. But he just he's had a bunch of top 5s and top 10s, but not really in contention for wins anywhere.
The snail versus the tail coming up in Indy.
Grandpa's favorite versus Pop's second favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. All 3 of the 4 Gibbs cars were like in contention for the win, and Ty was just kind of back there. I mean, granted, he was in the top 10, but he was just back there.
Well, looking forward to seeing whose granddaddy comes home with $1 million.
Apparently, Pop needs it because he was on the radio bitching. Did y'all hear that?
No.
No, I saw something about that, but I didn't actually listen to it. I thought it was just Kyle bitching about the car, but apparently
No,
Richard
it
was
was
bitching about the
Pop.
car.
What was he saying?
Bitching about his own cars. He said something to the extent of like, guys, we gotta do something about these. We gotta get new cars or something. It's like, no,
Dude, it's
don't you
your
own the
team.
car?
Yeah, really. Yeah. And he's clearly though he's going to lend Ty his biggest motor for next week to see what happens.
I hope so. Would love to see it.
I
I'm
was
on Team Ty
talking to-
Dillon for sure.
Same for sure.
Oh, for sure. I was talking to a friend of the program, Kyle Ayala, and he said that he was listening to some radio interview with Jordan Bianchi, and Jordan Bianchi's #1 silly season thing was that next year or 2027 or next year, whenever Austin Dillon's contract is up, that he's going to go to the, business side of it. And we'll have Austin Hill in the 3 car.
Oh, perfect.
I don't love that.
Cross that bridge.
I mean,
when we
it's
get there.
Put Kyle in the
arguably-
fucking Kyle in the 3 car. Do it. I'd much rather see that than Austin Hill in the 3 car.
I mean, there's what news? What news is that really? Like, obviously, like they've been holding that guy around for a long time, and he hasn't stuck at Xfinity for this long to not get a shot with RCR. He's a lifer, so that's not a surprise.
Yeah, I just don't want him in that car, but
No,
You know, I didn't. I go against the grain on a lot of NASCAR fans with the 3 thing with Austin Dillon. Like, it is family. You know, I think it's okay for Richard to do that, but to totally remove the legacy from it and throw Austin Hill in there, unless he's like an illegitimate son or cousin or whatever the fuck it is, that kind of rubs me the wrong way. But hey,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Put Kyle in the 3 car. Like,
yeah,
really, just
exactly.
just fucking nuke every other Earnhardt like dying fan's mind by putting Kyle Busch in that car and just let us have that moment.
I don't even think people will give a shit anymore, to be honest with you.
I don't think too many people. I mean, I think it's probably just the same people that don't know how to use Amazon at this point.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment.
I think Austin's shit on that number long enough now to the point where people have just given up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still Dale's number. I don't care who's driving it, but
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with
Anyway.
the 43, though. You know, like it is what it is.
yeah.
There's only 99 or 100, technically probably like 105 numbers they could use. I feel like because there's some 01s and whatevers, but yeah.
Yeah, you people do the math, not us. We're journalists, not mathematicians.
Yeah. Let's see. So I guess that's probably it for Dover. IndyCar, I guess, was pretty wild. Again, didn't see a second of it, so Rob, you can inform us on that.
No,
one.
I cannot.
Okay. Well,
I watched the first half until the NASCAR race started, and then I turned it. I just saw that Scott McLaughlin had another shitty week.
Yeah, it's a bad week to be a Penske. Another bad week to be a Penske driver.
Yeah, he wrecked early when his nut fell off the wheel. And then,
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I did watch this race, actually. Yeah, Pato Award won. Pato Award won the race. That was cool.
I remember I watched this. Okay.
Well, it was just kind of on in the
big pile
background in the backyard. But yeah.
yeah, there's a car on top of Joseph Newgarden.
Yeah, Santino Ferrucci didn't make the show after betting it in practice.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's surprising.
Yeah, it was in the morning warm-up because the IndyCar will have a morning practice like NASCAR used to do, the happy hour kind of deal. And, just completely destroyed the car. Didn't have time to pull a backup out. I don't even know if Foyt has one. So,
Okay, I was gonna ask. I wasn't sure if he didn't make it on time. He just didn't have a car.
No, he
ready.
qualified and he was in the show, but yeah, they just didn't have time to get the backup ready in between the warm-up and the race. So Santino had to sit that one out. But yeah,
Fox
Pato Award.
did a terrible job. They missed a restart during commercial.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then when they came back from commercial, that car was on top of Joseph Newgarden. So.
Perfect.
And then we learned that the IndyCar will not be returning to Iowa next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like another self-sabotage situation. I guess like there was no local promotion for the races at all. And that's part of the reason why attendance was bad.
Yeah, they'd already given up on it. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and that's also why they didn't do the concerts or anything. So that sucks. Everybody's asking for more ovals from IndyCar, and no, let's take them away. That's what'll make things better. So, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, let's see how that worked for Kart back in the day, or Champ Car, which it didn't. So, yeah, I don't know, man. You guys know my opinion on this, so I don't really need to share it again, but it's a shame. I always thought the races at Iowa were exciting. At the very least, those cars are super exciting to watch rip around there, even on television. You can tell how fast they're ripping around that place, even on a shitty broadcast like Fox's. And yeah, it just sucks. But hey, I guess it probably doesn't matter to the Speedway all that much. They have NASCAR now. It doesn't seem like that's going anywhere on the schedule. They keep selling it out. So they're going to bring in plenty of money through that event, and it's just a shame.
Yeah. Yep, it's a bummer. Speaking of bummers, although I don't know how much of a bummer it is for a 95-year-old man passing away, but
That's sad.
former NASCAR Grand National Champion Rex White, he was the 1960 Cup champion, passed away. Like I said, 95 years old. So
Yeah, and a life well lived at that.
yeah, so that's at the point where after 85, 90, like there's not really any sadness when someone that age passes away, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's not like tragedy, like it's just like his time ran out. So
I will say
R.I.P.
that
Rex White.
Rex's 2015 NASCAR Hall of Fame Award induction is one of my all-time favorite induction speeches, because he goes up there and then like his papers get all shuffled and he loses his spot, and like James Hilton comes out to give him his ring, and like Rex completely ignores him and just does his whole speech while James is standing there like, and then they had him they gave him a little platform to stand on because he's only 5'4". And then when James finally goes to give him the ring, Rex falls off the platform, lands on the ground. Kevin Harvick has to come up there and pick him up.
Oh,
But chaos all around, but his speech was great.
Yeah, well, rest in peace, Rex. Again, your 1960 champion, Hall of Famer. I think he had, 28 wins in the Cup Series?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I disagree with Brian. It's always sad, but you're right. A life well lived, and it's not tragic. It just happens at that
that's
point.
What I mean. Obviously it's sad to lose anybody, but I mean, it's not like he died too young. He's 95.
He certainly lived.
That's what I mean.
I will say that everything I've heard about him as a person and people meeting him and interacting with him, he was always very down to earth and super kind. And you don't always get that, but I'm glad to hear that Rex was one of the good ones, it seems.
Yeah.
All of his interviews were always great.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of departures,
Even worse news.
our Motorsports, who just shit canned Chris Wright.
Oh, this isn't what I was talking about. This does suck, though.
is now shit canning the entire team. So I'm assuming that Chris Wright had some sort of funding on this team, because it doesn't make any sense as to why the whole thing would shut down a week after they shit can him.
Yeah, probably
Cascarella
so.
finish.
Yeah, where did Cascarella end up? I know it sucks to see that those are some modified guys from up north here running an Xfinity team. Always kind of pulled for them for that reason. Chris Wright made it hard to do that, and my assumption is that he just wrecked him out of business. But,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Cascarella finished 31st, so.
perfect. But it sucks to see teams closing down. It really does. As much of a laughing stock as they are, not the team necessarily, but just based on
the
Chris
driver.
Wright's antics, it sucks to lose these cars. We lost Johnny Davis a couple years back. Now these guys are gone. A lot of smaller teams are having a hard time staying open. It sucks. You don't want to see that. You need cars to have a race, even if some of them aren't all that fast. Maybe not as like ARCA. We could probably use a few of those teams to go away. Maybe, I don't know, but
I mean, they already got tiny ass fields as it is. I don't know if we need those to go away.
no, I guess the combined events are fine. But yeah, it just sucks to see race teams closing down, and especially the more journeyman type guys, because we need those. We need those,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Speaking of things we don't need,
yeah, this is what I was upset about. So Loudon, of course, is my home track. I go there every year. They've had an AC/DC cover band as the big race day entertainment, always on a Saturday night. Those guys have gotten too old and they've retired. That's literally what happened after playing the event for at least 5 years, but I know it's been longer than that. I say 5 years because that's how many times I've seen them at the campground.
Jesus.
And they've replaced them with an Aerosmith cover band, Draw the Line, so I won't be going to that ever again. We used to have Sunday concerts, but they got rid of those for a little while. I want to say even before COVID, they stopped doing them. I think the best thing I saw was Cheap Trick. That was kind of neat. But they're bringing it back this year, and it's an important race now because, of course, Loudon's in the playoffs, and we have Tim Duggar has extended his reach up north, and I'll have the pleasure of ignoring that from the fucking parking lot come September. So, yeah, Tim Duggar playing the Loudon race.
I will give you $100
To
if you throw a beer at him and hit him with it.
Jesus.
Kicked out before the race even started.
It's a weird schedule. I don't even know if I'm going to the Cup race this year, to be honest with you. The modified race is at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning, and then the trucks are right after that. So that might be and we're not camping this year, so that might be the extent of my visit. But, yeah, Tim Duggar certainly does not sweeten the pot for me.
Is this your first Tim Duggar experience?
It would be.
Well, maybe you can get Andy Newsom to come up there and you can ride on his shoulders up to the front.
That would make it better. If Andy wants to come up, I'll ride on his shoulders all day.
Okay.
And, of course, if friends want to go see Tim Duggar, I'll roll with them. It's fine. But, yeah, it's certainly not my first choice.
Listen, if any of your friends want to go see Tim Duggar, you got to reevaluate your friendships.
That's probably true. But yeah, we got him. We got him, folks.
North of the Mason-Dixon.
Wonderful. Other news. Let's see here. So, talk about the lawsuit a little bit more. So, yeah, it was determined that the injunction or whatever didn't go through. So now 2311 and Front Row Motorsports are now open teams. However, NASCAR announced a rule change today that kind of covers their asses, I feel like, as far as this lawsuit's concerned. Basically, they changed the rule to that now there's only 30 chartered teams at the moment. So the top 6 non-chartered teams in the points are locked into the races. So I feel like this is a move to cover their asses a little bit and see, they can still make the races even though they're not chartered teams type bullshit. So
yeah, well, I mean, I think the other important piece of this is that if NASCAR loses this lawsuit, which is still very likely despite the fact that it seems very skewed in their direction at the moment, that would change all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
Like, that would be a huge mess for them if they didn't allow these guys to have the opportunity. If the teams that are suing NASCAR won their lawsuit and now their seasons are screwed, that's a whole other battle they don't want to get into. So this is definitely the path of least resistance. I'm glad to see that, personally speaking.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's for the benefit of everybody for the time being to make sure those cars are in the races, even though they're going to make, a third of what they should make.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're still I think we're at the point we're back to waiting and seeing what happens, unless somehow there's some sort of settlement or something, in the next few months. But it doesn't sound like it sounds like both sides are really digging their heels in and are going to fight this. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll see what happens in the off season.
Denny Hamlin keeps talking about December 1st, like he's going to storm the Capitol or some shit like that. Have you seen this?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just wait till December 1st. You'll see. What?
I do find it interesting that he's having a pretty good season and then his teams are not. Like both his teams are not really performing even to what they were doing last year. And
Yeah.
Bubba had a good day on Sunday, but still.
Bubba had a decent day. I think Reddick got a top 10 too, but I mean, they both should be farther up there. So
Tyler still lost to Ty Gibbs on Sunday, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Let's see, other news. So it is official. Chicago street race is off the schedule next year. It is not necessarily dead. It sounds like they still want to make something happen at some point, but it'll at least be off the schedule for 2026.
Yeah.
They want to change the date and I think work on, set up times and fees and everything. Which somebody informed me of this only recently in one of my discords that former disgraced Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot apparently sold NASCAR on this way under value as far as getting them to come to the city, which is I think one of the reasons why other people in the city were kind of pissed off about it, because I don't know what the costs were or anything like that, but basically she sold them that real estate for the race way under value as to what it would cost other cities to do this.
Yeah.
So I think that was part of the reason why the city wants to reevaluate everything. It sounds like also later this week we're going to get an official announcement on the San Diego street race happening. I think it's going to be at an Air Force base or some shit out there. But yeah, it sounds like that's a go. I do have a very good friend in San Diego. Not that I necessarily want to fly out to San Diego for a street race, but it would certainly motivate me to get out there and see him next year. So
yeah, San Diego to me is a much more attractive destination than Chicago is. I don't know if you guys have ever been there. It's fucking beautiful. The food's amazing. Mexico's right there. It rules.
They have hot, wet meats.
They got hot, wet
Sure
meats,
they do.
but they're different from the ones they have in Chicago.
Yeah.
Boats.
Yeah, San Diego's a beautiful city. Again, we've all expressed our fandom of the street race format. Again, I don't think, like Brian said, that's not really something, and Truelove said this last week too, I don't know if that's something I'd spend a lot of money on to do personally or more than once. Just based on the experience, not really being catered to the average race fan. But, I don't know, San Diego is cool, and they need a California race that's not Sonoma. So this is a great way to do it, and I'm excited for it. It's fun on TV, so who gives a shit?
Yeah, no, the races are great on TV. That's the thing. And that's kind of how I feel about most road course races, to be honest. It's just I like going to a race and be able to watch all of it, Like Mid-Ohio is one thing, but as far as traveling way out of my way to go to a road course, it's not incredibly enticing.
All right.
That's why I actually like going to the Roval.
Because you can see everything. Yeah.
Well, see, I felt that way about Indy also. I enjoyed going to Indy for the road course, and I don't know if I'll ever go there for an oval race, which we'll get more into with the video of the week stuff. But, you could see the majority of the track for the road course.
I do have a friend that lives in San Diego, and they messaged me today and said that the local radio stations there are already talking about the street race is going to be there, so...
Cool. Yeah, no, it's pretty much official at this point. Like I said, there's supposed to be some sort of official announcement coming later this week, so that is one thing we will miss, but that's fine. And
Y'all
then-
talk about Cookie Monster real quick. I gotta go change the batteries in my fan. I am fucking dying down here right now. The temperature just jumped 20 degrees. I'll be right back.
That's fine. And yeah, as Rob mentioned, Cookie Monster. So Cookie Monster is the Grand Marshal for the Brickyard 400 this weekend, which is pretty funny. I think it's funny for a couple reasons. One, the fact that you're going to have a puppet as a Grand Marshal of a race. That's funny. Second off, PBS just lost all their funding because of Trump, because, he's a piece of shit. So that's a bummer for them. So I guess it's nice to have Sesame Street get a little more publicity out of this. And third, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, do your third.
I was going to say, and third, this also explains why Bubba Wallace was on Sesame Street, because I did see some promos online today that basically I think this week is going to be him and maybe other NASCAR drivers on Sesame Street, like going to the race. So that makes sense as to why Bubba was doing that and whatnot. So, yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's interesting. I wouldn't say it's interesting, but I mean, it's
It's a fun little crossover.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think people of all ages should be able to appreciate. I mean, yeah, granted, Sesame Street it's for children, but I know I was
We were all
raised on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all in the same age range to where we all watched as little kids, and the PBS stuff. I mean, that and like Mr. Rogers, all that stuff holds a place in my heart, and it's a bummer that again. The government is going to cut funding and could potentially affect children's programming for years to come. But whatever, we'll have Cookie Monster at the race. So
Yeah. It's blowing that budget while they still got it.
So yeah,
one thing I didn't add to the notes was that we learned that Austin Dillon's mom doesn't like him.
Oh.
He's not the favorite child. He might be the favorite grandchild, but he's not the favorite child.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Where did that come from again?
I think it was some little
Austin and
NASCAR.
Ty.
Yeah, Austin and Ty did they asked him questions, and
Yeah.
that was one of the questions. So.
Very funny.
And also,
Does
Ty
your
was a
mom
better
like
uncle
you?
too.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, well, we all know who the preferred Dylan is, so.
Yeah. In this house, it's Ty for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, that's news and notes. And so are we gonna make Brett the official Darf of the week this week?
I've got
Since
one in the
he's not-
septic tank, but yeah, I think we should bring this up because it's a pretty dumb. And he is, I think he didn't
Technically
spot,
a fan
right?
at this point. He'll
Yeah.
spot. He's not a full-time employee in NASCAR, so he's technically a fan.
He was
at the
off
moment.
this week, so I think this flies.
Yeah. So everybody's favorite dipshit, racist, alcoholic spotter, Brett Griffin, posted on Twitter, "I like Parker, but Jamie and Shannon are all we need at the desk. Let him do Xfinity, but I don't want a college football player analyzing the NFL game." What a fucking dickhead thing to say. I mean, it's not necessarily about what you did in the sport. Like he has, like Parker has a very clear analysis of what's going on in racing, and he's not even the color commentator. He's just the guy to provide, notes and stuff before and after the race. And he's, more important than his in-car skills, he's great on TV. He is the type of person, the type of driver, the type of personality you want on these broadcasts. So
Yeah.
there are tons of fucking drivers that did nothing in NASCAR and made it on TV.
I mean, he's got 30 cup starts, so it's not like he hasn't been there before.
Yeah, and fucking Junior didn't race this car. Carl Edwards didn't race this car. Like,
Shannon
what-
Spake didn't race this car. for
Yeah,
fuck's
like
sake.
what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, that's real dumb.
yeah. Your punishment this week, Brett, is expedited cirrhosis of the liver. So.
Oh. I was holding my breath for death, but I suppose.
I mean, well, I want it to be a
guess that
slow,
leads-
painful death. So
leads to it.
that's cirrhosis. So.
Yeah. I've always been the lone Brett. I don't even call myself a defender, but he doesn't bother me as much as y'all. But yeah, even this is indefensible. It's just a stupid fucking opinion. not everybody in the booth has driven a race car at the Cup level, and if you did, you wouldn't have anybody in there except for Kevin Harvick. We all know how that would go. So yeah, as the kids say, there's still time to delete this, and you could do that if you wanted to. Fucking idiot.
Well, with that, we got a deep dive into the septic tank this week, because boy, was shit happening.
Yeah, it was a huge weekend in sprint car racing. Of course, the entire 410 world rolled into Eldora Speedway for the King's Royal, and of course, the Joker's Jackpot, the companion high limit event. First off, I just want to give an update on Caleb Henry from the race at Attica. He is doing okay. I don't know if he's been released from the hospital yet, but his scans came back clean. He's definitely very sore, but nothing too serious injury-wise for him. His helicopter flight was purely precautionary, and it seems like he's out of the woods. He's not going to be on the track for a little while. Definitely got banged up pretty good, but glad to hear that Caleb Henry's doing all right. And I bring this up because wow, it was a fucking meat grinder this weekend. I can't think of a weekend of racing where there's been this many injuries and just horrifying crashes. Night after night after night. A great show regardless, so we're going to break it all down here for you. Of course, 4-night stand here for the guys of the 410 world. The first 2 nights were reserved for high limit for the Joker's Jackpot. I kept calling this the Joker's Jack Off in text threads, so if I say that, I apologize. That's not what the event is called. It is the Joker's Jackpot. But on Wednesday, of course, they split everybody into 2 groups. I think it was a similar point system to what you'd see at Knoxville or some of these big events where they draw so many cars. Aaron Reitzel won the Group A feature. Corey Day, failing NASCAR prospect Corey Day, going back to a sprint car and showing everybody what he can do and why he got the job in the first place over Hendrick by winning Group B. Gio Scelzi had a pretty wild flip and immediately quit the team. Which was crazy.
And now he's going to be in Tyler Courtney's car.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in a second here. But yeah, Gio just straight up overnight quit. And there's a lot of people thought maybe he was taking Spencer Baston's ride or something better came along. But whatever the plan was at that point, it certainly wasn't what ended up coming to fruition because they had no idea what was coming. But yeah, let's see here. Tyler Walker made his return to big-time 410 sprint competition. Of course, we talked about him a couple times on the show the past few weeks. Of course, Tyler Walker was a star in the mid-aughts up until about 2014, 2015. Had some drug issues, got his life cleaned up, and now he's back running at Eldora. Not too fast, unfortunately. Kind of ran in the back and didn't really make the show, but that hilarious-looking car was out there on on Wednesday. More on that in a second, because wow, this is such pretty much racing in a nutshell, the business side of it anyway. But we'll talk about why you didn't see Tyler on Saturday in just a second here. Thursday night, of course, this was High Limit's big debut on FS1. I don't know if we mentioned this on the show last week. I think we kind of forgot just because there's a bunch of other shit to talk about. But it's the first time big-time 410 sprint car racing has been on cable television in quite some time. I can't remember the last time they had a live event like this. And it was going pretty well until it wasn't. In one of the heat races, massive wreck in turn 1. Of course, there's a huge bump in turn 1 that was catching cars kind of off guard. I believe that's what happened to Buddy Kofoid, who kind of triggered the whole thing. He kind of biked the car and ended up taking out Tyler Courtney, Bill Balog, Brad Sweet, Hunter Scherberg was in there, but Tyler got on his side and just. It was one of the ugliest wrecks I've ever seen.
Wait, that wasn't a heat race. That was the feature.
That was first lap of the feature.
Yeah,
sorry.
that was the first lap of the feature. Yeah, I was going to say, like, what a.
I'm conflating this with Friday night when there was a heat race wreck.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. But yeah, Tyler Courtney crushed the top of the cage on his car. Of course, welcome to big-time sprint car racing, folks, for all you at home watching on cable for the first time. A lengthy red flag period where they did get Tyler out of the car. He was taken in a helicopter to, I assume, Dayton. Again, precautionary, because there's not really any hospitals around there. I think I'd much rather take a helicopter ride to a real hospital rather than, a van ride to the fucking Walmart Vision Center 10 miles up the road or whatever's out there. But Tyler Courtney, of course, he's doing okay. I think they haven't really said what happened to him, but from what I gather, he might have had a punctured lung. Definitely some concern about his back. Of course, he broke a few vertebrae a couple years ago and was out for a good chunk of the All-Star season, I believe.
I saw something today on Twitter where he had surgery on his back and should make a full recovery, and that's also where they announced Gio getting the car.
Yeah, Gio Scelzi is going to be taking over after Lernerville. Cole Duncan's going to be running the Lernerville show on Tuesday night for High Limit. But, yeah, absolutely terrifying crash. I mean, you see pictures of this car coming off the racetrack, and that crossbar on the frame is just bent inwards. And, it was very scary, and especially after seeing Caleb Henry get life flighted out a couple nights earlier at Attica. It was very sobering. But once the race did pick up, it was pretty exciting. Had a pretty good battle between a lot of different guys. Kyle Larson ended up persevering here and winning his own money on national television, which I was cool with. But we got to see a pretty good battle between him, Rico Abreu, Carson Macedo, and Anthony Macri. And Logan Schuchart was in the mix too, but no one really had anything for Larson at the end there. And I think the big sort of dramatic, you want to talk about sanctioning body drama, of course, we all talked about the High Limit World of Outlaws split. David Gravel, of course, a big World of Outlaws guy and defender. He's current points leader. He got DQ'd. So, of course, the internet loved that shit. And this, of course, spills over into Friday night when the World of Outlaws portion of the show picked up. Oh, go ahead.
One more thing about Thursday. I will say that putting it on FS1 worked because my dad was just out in his shop flipping through the channels and happened to come across it on FS1, and he was so excited that there was dirt racing on TV that he called me to tell me, even though I was already watching.
Hell yeah.
And then he proceeded to drink a bunch of beers and made a drunk Facebook post about it as well because he was so excited. It was on
That's
FS1.
awesome. Also, shout out to FS1 for they ran over their window obviously because of the red flag for Tyler Courtney. I think they went about half an hour over. So good for them. They didn't have to do that. They could have kicked that to FS2 or not cut them a break, but they were pretty kind to the Cars Tour as well. And they did the same thing for High Limit. And also, shout out to the booth. It was really awesome to see to hear Blake Anderson and the boys up there on cable television, which, those are two of the, especially Blake. He's my favorite announcer in sprint car racing. It was awesome to hear his voice, not on Flow Racing or out at Skagit, or the Chili Bowl. But yeah, that was killer. I hope they do more of that. I can't imagine they're not going to. I'm curious to see what the ratings are or were for this. It hasn't come out yet, but I would say a big win all around for High Limit and FS1, and hopefully we get to see more of this on big TV and continue to grow this thing. But that's it for the High Limit portion of the show. World of Outlaws picked it up on Friday night for the Kings Royal, the 42nd running of one of the biggest sprint car races out there. A huge car count. Again, everybody on Earth was there. I forget exactly how many cars, but it was definitely one of the larger shows of the year. But unfortunately, we saw another pretty nasty wreck. Aaron Reitzel flipped from the lead on the cushion and got hit by not one but two cars. Zach Hampton came in there and absolutely clobbered him, and then Steven Snyder hit him even harder. Aaron Reitzel didn't get life flighted out, but he definitely took a ride to the hospital. I don't know how long he's going to be out for. It doesn't sound like his injuries are as bad as Tyler's. No replacement has been announced or anything like that, but still, for the second night in a row to see something like that was certainly awful. And yeah, that was a nasty wreck. Just him flipping off the top on his own was pretty bad. He got pretty high up in the air, and then just to see those two cars fly in there and just, yeah. I don't know. I think everybody had a knot in their stomach after that one. Kasey, nope, that's the wrong note there. That's Saturday. Sorry. Rico Abreu picked up the win on Friday night. Everyone loved to see that shit. But I think the big story of the night was Kyle Larson and David Gravel kind of bringing the High Limit World of Outlaws drama to the big stage because they were trading sliders pretty much all night, pretty short ones at that. I didn't see anything that was really too egregious or dirty, but, there's some tight racing in there, no question about it, but David Gravel did not like it at all and proceeded to spin out Kyle Larson after the race was finished. Larson kind of chalked it up to just hard racing, which is what it was. By the way, they were racing for third and fourth at the end of that race. And David Gravel gave this interview, which to me is some bitch shit, but that's just me.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
I think just about everybody who saw this feels the same way.
Yeah, and look, I understand if David's pissed. I think he has every right to be if he doesn't want to be raced that way. And, I think his feelings are valid, but just the way he portrayed it and how far he went was kind of chicken shit, to be honest. He went on, I'll just read some of his quotes here. He said he's been running me the same way for the past couple weeks, and it started at Huset's, which is, of course, is the track that David Gravel is sponsored by in the World of Outlaws. He's got a vendetta towards us. We can keep playing that game, but eventually it's not going to be good. He should be a professional. He thinks our team is not professional. He should be the ultimate professional. He's not driving like that on the racetrack. We're friends, but I guess we're not right now. And I'm reading this off the World of Outlaws website, but what they did cut out was the part where he talked about how Larson should cut him a break because he doesn't do this every week. So we're at the biggest race of the year, and you expect somebody to lay over because you're trying to get points for a series that Larson doesn't run. Like, get fucked.
Yeah, really.
Get fucked. And you're good enough to win. He's just pissed he got DQ'd, And again, there's a lot of layers to this. Both of these guys got called to the World of Outlaws hauler. They had a little chat afterwards. Obviously, wrecking somebody intentionally is not something that any sanctioning body is going to be thrilled about. And again, remember, Gravel just got DQ'd by Kyle Larson's series. So there's a lot of stuff boiling up underneath here. And I'm here for it. I love it. I mean, this is what makes this shit entertaining, You need a little off-track excitement to augment the shit you see on the racetrack, especially when there's a lot of violence going on out there. But yeah, I'm not a David Gravel fan. A lot of that was for comedic effect before, but now he's on my shit list. But anyway, moving on to Saturday, the King's Royal, folks.
I have one note about Friday night as well. There was a video posted of a proposal that happened at the Love Tunnel, and I was repulsed because of the new decal.
Yeah, they have replaced the iconic hand-painted Love Tunnel. Not that it's a special graphic or anything. It's not like they covered up a mural in L.A. or some shit like that. It's stencils, but it's been there for as long as Eldora's been there, and they've pasted over it, and they cut out a little hole so the Eddie Gossage Tunnel, which is the official name of the tunnel, the little plaque they have on there, it fits around that, but it's just, why?
Someone rips it down.
Yeah, $15 at Walmart for paint, or Sherwin-Williams if you want the nice shit.
Do you think that this couple consummated their engagement either before or after it happened?
It's been done before.
I'm sure it has. I'm sure it's been done before. But yeah, I hope those people are happy. Congratulations. She did say yes, so that is very exciting. They looked very sweet. It was a very tender moment, ruined by that atrocious fucking abomination of a banner they've stuck up there.
Yep.
Yeah, I hated that. Oh, also, one thing I forgot to mention before we got into the racing here, a friend of the program, Kyle Armstrong, I mention him every week. He's out there at the Simpson trailer, and he's, of course, it's a long show, 4 days. He gets there a couple days early to set up. He took to making himself some ice blocks in his hotel freezer. There's like a little ice tray in there, like a big one that you can put the cubes into, but he decided, no, fuck that, I'm going to make blocks. And the first one went so well that he proceeded to make 2 more. And hopefully those will last all the way to Fairbury. And I got such a kick out of that I plan on doing this anytime I have more than 1 day in a hotel, making myself a nice little loaf of ice.
Are you going to get into, like, ice sculpting?
You could, or you just stick that thing in your cooler and it'll last for a while.
Carve it into a race car or something?
You could. He suggested maybe carving a sprint car out of it. I really think you should just drill into it and stick your beers in there. Have yourself a nice little, whatever the fuck you would call that.
Big old koozie.
Yeah, a giant koozie that you can't pick up. But
Does not keep your hands warm.
But yeah, if you are in the market for a big block of ice for the PDC coming up at Fairbury, go down to the Simpson trailer and see what Kyle Armstrong can whip up for you. But anyway, on to Saturday, the Kings Royal, the 42nd running of the Kings Royal. What a fucking race. What an event. I mean, the pomp and circumstance, just the way they crown the winner, by actually giving him a crown. And there's like a magistrate that comes out in a white robe. And it's corny, but it is the coolest victory lane celebration you'll ever see. Not thrilled with the winner, but we're a couple points away from that, so I'll hold my judgment until we get there. Shout out to the guy who had his arms fully stretched out like he was at a Hillsongs taping during the invocation. No need for that. I mean, I have no problem with people being Christians, but we are at a dirt track, and
save it for Sunday.
Save it for Sunday, please. But I guess we needed all the help we can get because there was yet another horrifying crash involving Brad Sweep. Yeah, he clapped the wall, flipped, and Cale Thomas came in there and cleaned him out. Another lengthy red flag period. Brad did get taken to the hospital. Good news for Brad is all his scans came back clear, and he should be back to action pretty soon. I don't think there was anything that would keep him out of the car, but just for those of you keeping score at home, that is the top 3 in high limit points that were in major accidents this weekend that might miss time coming up as a result of this weekend at Eldora.
Case Kane's finally going to get a win.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but Rico Avers' chances at a title just vastly improved. And by the way, that Whiskey Myers car looks fucking cool, and I'm going to buy a T-shirt as soon as I'm back from Europe. Anthony Macri, the Concrete Kid, ended up picking up the win. I think he led pretty much every single lap. Also, shout out to Kasey Jedrzejek getting the pole. You couldn't have guessed that if you tried. But just the way the point system works for setting up the heats and the way he raced, he managed to get the pole out of the deal. And he dropped back pretty quickly. I don't know if he had an issue or it was just slow. But still, shout out to him. A pole at Eldora is a pole. And that goes down on the record book, so good for him. But yeah, Anthony Macri, I think he led pretty much every single lap and became the King Anthony Macri, the 42nd. Again, I'm not a Macri fan in the slightest, but I met his crew guys at Williams Grove, and they were pretty nice. So
this is my first time ever hearing him speak, I guess, and I could not get over his ragged mouth breathing the entire time. He sounded like a struggling pug.
Yeah. Well, if I just won $200,000, I might be breathing out of my mouth too. Yeah, but all in all, definitely a sobering but exciting weekend at Eldora. It always puts on a show. I want to see this. I want to go out there and experience this event. It's one of those crown jewel events. It has such a vibe to it. I mean, it's a crown jewel for a reason. The only thing that rivals it is the Knoxville Nationals. And Eldora is a special place, even though they painted it or they put a fucking sticker on top of the Love Tunnel.
We're going to have to call them about that.
Yeah. One thing that does kind of suck about this weekend, this is kind of going around on the internet. A lot of guys weren't setting up merch trailers because Eldora charges $1,000 a night for a parking spot to put your merch hauler out on Merch Row. Now, World of Outlaws, they give their guys free spots. High Limit gives their guys, like the regulars, free spots. But this is such a big event, and everyone kind of sticks around for the whole thing that a lot of teams can't afford this. I think Garrett Williamson was the guy who posted about this and saying, like, yeah, we're not selling merch this weekend out there. You can come find us because we can't afford $4,000 to come out here and set up a trailer. So that sucks. I mean, I guess that's common. It's been that way for a long time at Eldora. It's always been very expensive. But, I mean, merch sales is one of the things that definitely grows the sport. And it also puts money in the pockets of teams that are, they're paying the same entry fees as David Gravel and Kyle Larson and all these guys who are the big draws, Donnie Schatz. Like, yeah, you know who those guys are. But they have a shot at the check. I would hope that a track like Eldora, which is so good at so many other things, I would love to see them maybe drop that price or, do something that's a little more equitable for these little guys who really could stand to make a lot of money hauling all the way out to Ohio. As a guy in a band, merch sales, that makes or breaks things for a small band, and I know it's a pretty similar grind for race teams, and I would hope that Eldora and some of these other tracks that do stuff like this would consider that in the future. That's my rant. But the short track dart for the week ties right into this, because apparently somebody knocked over one of Parker Price Miller's racks and stole the top of it. Just took the
looking
ring.
At this picture, what? Why? A hula hoop?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why the fuck you would do that, but it is. Parker is on the hunt. I'm telling you, they're going to track this fucker down. They posted his photo on the internet.
Well,
the post says,
I can tell he's an idiot straight out of the gate, because he's wearing a T-shirt that says Echo Park Speedway. So anyone that spent money on a T-shirt that said Echo Park Speedway is already on my shit list. So,
well, if you might have seen him.
He might be local. I'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, if you have evidence, please reach out to the law firm of Parker Price Miller. They're searching for him, and they will find him. But yeah, don't do that shit. Don't steal from race teams. Don't do dumb fuck shit when you're drunk at the racetrack. It's just stupid. So yeah, Parker Price Miller apparently has whooped Tyler Courtney's ass before. And my punishment for this guy is the same treatment that Sunshine got for reasons I won't disclose on the show. Let's see. There's a lot more short track racing. Oh shit! I'll try and blow through this as quick as I can. Oh yeah, the Tyler Walker deal. So everyone excited to see Tyler back, and I'm not gonna read all this, because this post the car owner Ron Rutherford put up is a little bit of a mess. He definitely typed and didn't edit when he was done.
Yeah, I was gonna say I need a summation of this, because I read it myself and I was like, I kind of follow what's going on, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely stream of conscious, and then just hit send or post without even proofreading it. But apparently, and this will come as a surprise to most of you, I'm sure, but would you believe that a crypto sponsor did not pay up like they were supposed to? Oh. Would you guys believe that shit? Powered by puppets. They didn't give them the money they needed. So apparently they show up. They were supposed to be owed a certain amount of money. Didn't get it. They put the car on the track anyway. They were selling, the sponsor was selling T-shirts, which is also kind of sketchy. And they just never paid up. So that's why you didn't see Tyler Walker out there on Saturday. And this goes on. There's a bunch of weird shit in here. But it really seems to be all on the sponsor. And that fucking sucks, man. It really sucks, especially with a guy like Tyler. I was saying this to you guys before we started recording. Obviously his reputation precedes him. He's a great race car driver with some demons that unfortunately sidelined his career for a little while. And when something like this happens, I feel like a lot of people are automatically going to assume that Tyler had something to do with it. And it doesn't, from what I'm reading here, it doesn't seem like that's the case. So, what a bummer. And don't buy crypto from Powered by Puppets or Puppet Coin or whatever the fuck it is. And stay the fuck out of sprint car racing, please. Let's see here. I'm gonna blow through this as quickly as possible, because I want to talk about this video of the week, which is the saddest video that's ever been picked for the show. Yeah. Speaking of Houston's, Lucas Oil was out there for the Silver Dollar Nationals. Devin Moran won a thriller on Thursday night ahead of RTJ and Bobby Pierce, who made a big run from 11th to 3rd. That was probably the best racing we saw of the weekend. Really enjoyed that. Badass little racetrack Houston's is, and these guys are kind of driving them like wingless sprint cars, which I very much enjoyed. Jonathan Davenport won over Brandon Shepard on Friday night, and of course Hudson O'Neal won a range-shortened feature on Saturday. I was pretty bummed about that. I'm not a Hudson O'Neal fan at all, and it was honestly pretty similar to the NASCAR race at Dover. They had about 10 or 15 laps left, and the rains came, but you can't dry a dirt track. And at that point, the track's so rubbered up that all that moisture just stays on top and it gets greasy. And there was nothing they could have done. So Huddy won it fair and square. But between Anthony Macri winning the Kings Royal and then Hudson O'Neal winning at Houston's, I was ready to turn my TV off after that. I even texted my Alex and Josh saying that, man, I bet you Chase Elliott's going to win tomorrow at Dover just for the fucking hat trick for Uncle Rob here. And it looked like that was going to happen for a while.
Almost. And Andy Newsom did
He did a rain dance.
Did a dance.
Did you guys see this shit from the Mars Tour? Bob Gardner turning around the wrong way on the racetrack under green?
It's funny. So it's funny that this wasn't even in our one group chat. Stacy, friend of the show, Stacy, she was like, "Did you see that wreck?" I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah. Which
Somehow
one?
it ended up, I was gonna. Well, I thought she was talking about a sprint car wreck, and then she sent me this clip, and I was like, "Whoa, holy shit!" So she saw it before any of us did.
Yeah.
And that was pretty wild.
Yeah, for a weekend that, like I said, it was an absolute meat grinder with, I heard that 26 cars or something like that were completely destroyed at Eldora this weekend. Mm-hmm. For a weekend of that much carnage, for someone not at Eldora to take the crown this week is incredible. But yeah, Bob Gardner was up front racing Darren Klein. I kind of got run up the racetrack in 4 and clobbered the wall. Definitely broke his car probably, or at least ruined his chances of winning I think it was a heat race, in fact, pretty early in the night. The sun was still up. And he decides to just loop it into the infield and turn the car backwards like it's a PS2 game, under green, and drive towards the oncoming field. It's a short track, so it doesn't take that long for them to get around. So they throw the yellow, and this guy, kind of rams him a little bit. And then he turns around and then completely flips this dude over with the wedge on the front of the late model. That has earned him at least a 6-month ban from all Mars competition and any dirt car sanctioned event, which includes the World of Outlaws Real American Beer Tour. Of course, that's the other giant late model series that isn't Lucas Oil. It should be longer, in my opinion. That's lifetime shit right there when you drive backwards under green. Are you fucking kidding me?
I could not believe a grown-ass 47-year-old man did this. I thought it was like a 20-year-old kid.
Yeah, it's not Bob's first time out there. You know better. And especially after all the shit we've seen at Port Royal and, that kid getting banned for 2 years. You'd think maybe a cooler head would prevail. And, Bob did get on the internet and acknowledge he did wrong, but then he kind of backtracked and made light of it. And it was like, nah, that's the dumbest shit we've seen pretty much all year. And it's going to be the dumbest shit. Hopefully the dumbest shit we see all year. So, yeah, enjoy your 6 months off, pal. Meanwhile, on the pavement side of things, I did not go to Stafford like I wanted to on Wednesday night last week. But it was a pretty good show. Jake Johnson ended up picking up the win, but not before pissing Ryan Preece off pretty good. Jake ran Ryan up in the fence pretty early, racing for the lead. And then Ryan just completely dumped him, which I enjoyed very much. But then Ryan ended up falling back, and Jake Johnson picked up a win. That's how Jake Johnson is. He is exciting to watch, and I don't totally hate him, but no surprises that he would get into some shit. But again, Ryan Preece did not kick anybody's ass, which I'm waiting for it. I want to see it. He says he's going to do it a lot, doesn't do it. So come on, Ryan, give me something to look at. And of course, the Wheel of Modified Tour was up at Monadnock for 2 nights. One of the Catalanos won. It was Tommy, I think. Yeah, Tommy Catalano, and then Ron Silk won on Sunday. Apparently, there was a big fight between the Baldwin guys and the Catalano team. I haven't seen that yet. There is a video, apparently, but you got to be a Race Day CT subscriber to see it, which I'm not giving that guy money. So I guess that's just lost forever until somebody screen grabs it. But lots of short track racing coming up this weekend. I think the biggest thing, the thing I care the most about, which I will be watching at 7 a.m. when I'm in Sweden or Finland or wherever the fuck I'm going, the Prairie Dirt Classic at Fairbury American Legion Speedway. Also, there's a Flow Racing Night in America event leading into that. Kind of the equivalent of the King's Royal, I guess, as far as like prestige goes with late model events. This is going to be a good one, and Fairbury fucking rips. It's always worth your time, so make sure you're tuned into that. High Limit's going to be at Lernerville. USAC is going to be racing Silver Crown at Indianapolis Raceway Park, that's always really cool. I think that's in tandem with the Truck Series. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but IRP is running a lot coming up as we go into Indy here.
Trucks are running Friday.
Yeah, so I think the Silver Crown show is on Thursday night or something like that. But yeah, if you're in the Indy area, definitely get out to IRP. There's some good racing happening. Also, it's Indiana Sprint Week. They're going to the dirt track at Indianapolis, Lincoln Park, Kokomo, and Lawrenceburg. And they'll continue on next week, but I guess we'll discuss that on the show when we get to it. And then the World of Outlaws are at BAPS in the Grove. I'm going to try and watch this whenever I can. Me being in Scandinavia means these races are happening in the morning. which means I probably can't drink beer and watch them like I normally do because I have to sing at night, so it would be a mess. But I'm looking forward to watching it and hoping I find some friends who know what short track racing is out in Sweden, which I won't. So it's just going to be me. I don't know what the septic tank's going to look like next week. At this point, I don't know if I'm going to be on the show next week, so we might have a friend fill in. So this might be a completely different set of racing we're talking about in the septic tank here. I'm sure if it is Buddy, he's got plenty to talk about, so we'll give him the septic tank. But either way...
A little diaper tank.
Diaper tank. Well, you shouldn't flush diapers down the septic tank ever because it'll clog them up, but we're going to go ahead and do it tonight. Again, lots of racing coming up. Watch the fucking Prairie Dirt Classic. It's going to be awesome. And now we watch some... time to watch some people get their lives ruined by bad decisions.
Oh, boy. So, yeah, video of the week. Another one that was not my best week. I'll admit this. So we'll talk about the Brickyard video first. So they all come from the same channel that just focuses on a lot of weird, random Indianapolis motorsports coverage. And this guy had 3 different fan cam shots from the 94 Brickyard 400. I just picked the race day one, which I feel like I probably should have picked tire day or something else because there probably would have been more going on. You know, this was a shot from the infield grandstands behind pit row, again, on race day from the 94 Brickyard 400. And, you know, I guess this is where I'll talk about why I don't really want to ever go to an Indy oval race, although I do want to go to the Indy 500 at least once just to say I've done that. The big thing that I feel that, you know, from the one time I went to Indy is I don't think there's anywhere where you can see the entire track, whether it be the infield or, you know, the normal grandstands. Like the way everything is on the front stretch, like all the garages and all the, you know, grandstands and towers and everything, like you just can't see the whole track from anywhere. Yeah. And for an oval, that's kind of frustrating. And these people who went to the 494, they were on the infield grandstand. So, you know, it starts off with, you know, they did the Indy style, you know, lining the cars up on the front stretch as opposed to pit row, because that's not a NASCAR thing. And I forgot they did this, but, you know, it's fitting cool for the event. Yeah, it was cool.
You get to see Dale Earnhardt get booed at as he drives by.
I had that as a note, which for all you motherfuckers who turned him into a meme, people didn't like him. You know, he was not loved. He was not loved by everybody back then, folks.
I booed him the entire 90s. So.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up specifically to make that point. This is a perfect little time capsule of exactly what a lot of fans felt about Dale Earnhardt. You know, no disrespect, but yeah, people were not huge fans of him. You loved him or you hated him.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely, you know, a Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin type response, I would say, if you were actually going to the races back then. Up until, I wasn't, probably till after the 500. When he won the 500, I think that's when things really started to turn for him, and he started to become loved by most everybody. And also, you know, junior and started his own team and all that stuff. He started to become the elder statesman, but in 94, you know, at this point, he'd only had 6 titles. You know, Ernie was still there, and it was going to be a battle between him and Ernie for the title that year. We all know how that turned out. So, yeah, you know, you get a tiny little tidbit of that there. You know, you get the invocation, which who cares about that? And then, I forget her name, but you hear...
I know someone who would care about that. That guy at Eldora.
Oh, well, that good for him. Does anybody remember the name of the woman that gives the call the start your engines call? Because I remember
Mary Holman George.
There you go. So I remember probably the last time she did it. I think it was a Brickyard 400. It might have been Indy 500, but the last time she did this call, I remember seeing her on TV, and like when they went to give her the microphone, she could hear herself being announced. She was like, "That's me, that's me." And then when she gave the call, she was like drooling.
Yeah, she was in bad health for a long time.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, start your engines. Love it.
Yeah, this
No disrespect.
No disrespect. It just is like, I remember that vividly, like watching her drool on TV.
Yeah, I remember being a little kid and seeing her and thinking that, wow, she's very old. That's
Yes.
a very old woman.
We see balloons getting released and all the cars rolling off the line. The shot of the actual green flag is pretty choppy. There's a Darrell Waltrip pit stop that gets shown because, again, this person filming is right there.
Yeah.
You hear the announcer at the track. I don't know who was calling it at the track that day, but he gives a very regal 16-second pit stop. Great job, gentlemen, call over the grandstands, which
Yeah.
it's quaint when you think about it, compared to what the races are these days. There's another shot of a John Andretti pit stop. He was in, I think, 34 car that day, and I actually just got a T-shirt from this race with
Nice.
that car on it.
Nice.
There was a nice little quick shot of Rusty and Jeff Gordon battling for the lead on the front stretch, which was a nice catch. Let's see, the notes I have. I think every single person sitting around this guy had Brickyard 400 hats. I didn't see a hat of any driver. It is all just Brickyard 400 hats.
They made
I
so
saw a
much
couple
fucking
Jeff
merch.
Gordon hats.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, yeah, no, the Brickyard 400 merch, like, especially 94, like, I feel like maybe there was the most merch produced for any single race of all time. That is still, you can still, to this day, find brand new unworn shirts all day long on eBay and Etsy, and like cheap too. Like they're not like, when I get them, I'm not selling them for $40-50. Like there's just tons of them, so just get them the fuck out of here.
It's cool merch. I enjoy all of them. In fact, my dad brought me one back in '94 from a business trip in Indianapolis. So they made enough of them to sell at the airport.
There's even for
I can still fit in that shit. It's amazing.
There's even the company Salem. I don't know if Salem Sportswear rings a bell with you, but they were the company that really got popular in the 80s doing the T-shirts of the caricatures of athletes.
Yeah.
And they actually made a couple, and I have one that's really cool. It's like it's a Brickyard 400 shirt that's got a bottle of champagne being like uncorked, and it's super detailed. It's like one of those graphics that like you got to look at it closely because there's so much work put into the actual graphic itself, and I think it's probably the only 400 shirt I have in my personal collection, but I just really like that. Let's see what else. Notes. You see Jeff Gordon taking the white flag, and then the video ends with the drivers rolling down pit road, and the final shot is of AJ Foyt, which this was his final NASCAR start. I don't think he did very well in it, but I mean he was there and he started the race, so that's how the video ended. So not the most exciting fan cam footage, but again, I always like discovering this stuff just because it's a viewpoint that we'll never get. Obviously there's tons of TV coverage and stuff of these races, but I do like seeing stuff from a fan's perspective, and even though this video wasn't the most exciting, it was still interesting to watch at least once.
I love this one, to be honest, and I think the biggest takeaway for me, and what I hope the folks, if you watch this one, is just the enormity of this event at the time. Like, it was so big, and like it hasn't been that way in a long time for a variety of reasons. You can point your finger at whatever reason, the 2009 race, whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. This is arguably as big or bigger than the 500 for a couple years, especially after the split, because this was right before IndyCar and the IRL had their falling out, or CART and the IRL had their big falling out. So the Brickyard really was the big draw. You can really kind of sense the energy and sense how enormous this thing was when it first showed up. And
it's interesting now because this was up until this race, the Indy 500 was the only race on the oval. I mean, there were some road course races and stuff, but that was the only race on the oval. And now we get Xfinity on the oval, which is interesting. But
yeah. No comment.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean,
This
it's
video,
yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, this video made me nauseous, and it gave me a headache. So if you get motion sick, don't watch this.
All right, well,
Because this motherfucker never stopped moving the camera, ever. It was mostly just the back of people's heads, so.
yeah, it's a fair criticism, but yeah, I mean, I can't imagine like watching a race from that perspective. I mean, it's bad enough on the grandstands, like the main grandstands, but pointing towards, like from the infield, like you can't even turn around and look at shit. You're just you only get to watch the front stretch, so
Yeah.
frustrating. So yeah, moving on to our second video of the week, and while it's entertaining in its own way, I was definitely hoping that, you know, again, this came from the same channel as the fan cam footage. I was hoping there'd be a little more, you know, Indy 500 integration as far as the crimes committed. But
They mentioned. They got mentioned. The race happened alongside.
they talked about the race. They talked
Same
about
weekend.
people coming to town, and you know, you'd figure, I mean, yeah, all these people from out of town, you're going to get some out-of-town crime, but not so much. The first, so right off the bat,
first one is just.
it's sad, but
gets worse
before we
and
even
worse
get
and worse.
before you even get to the first visit, the intro to the show, they definitely show a child only wearing underwear getting, like, looked like he was getting handcuffed. It looked like they were putting his hands behind his back. It's like, Jesus Christ.
I missed that.
Yeah,
Too
you
busy getting
back
really
and
into
wa-
the theme song.
Yeah.
yeah, go back and watch that. It's definitely like, what the hell did I just see?
I mean, I'll be honest.
So-
I was jacked up for this one as the intro was rolling. I was like, man, we're gonna
Yeah.
see some drunk motherfuckers out here.
That's what I
It's
was
gonna be
expecting.
awesome. We're gonna see some
Yeah.
crowd control, and it just
Some
immediately,
people from the snake pit.
yeah. But it just immediately starts off with, well, Brian, you tell them what happens.
Brian, you tell
So
us.
cops are called to a hotel that is directly across the street from the track, and we do see them as they're hauling this woman away. You see the track right out front of
They
the hotel.
zoom right in on the logo.
So, some shithole motel right across the street from the track. It's there's a call for child endangerment. There's two little tiny children outside of a hotel room. So the cop gets there, and there's two little black kids hanging outside a hotel room, just like crying and stuff, sitting there in front of the door. And their grandma
Matching
was
jammies.
yeah, matching jammies.
yeah.
Their grandma was passed out inside, most likely drunk. It sounded like she was drunk, but they also found what looked to be some crack paraphernalia in there as well.
Yeah.
So that was, obviously a bummer. Grandma was totally out. She's like, they were asleep on the bed with me when I fell asleep, and they were like, maybe they crawled out the fucking window, which I don't think they did.
The 3-year-old had gotten a hold of Meemaw's liquor, apparently, because, like,
Yep,
this kid smells like he's been drinking.
Yeah.
God.
I will say the cops were very good with the children. I'll give them credit there. They were very good in handling the children, and compared to a lot of police videos you see online today, it was a very calm interaction as far as getting the kids out of there and getting grandma arrested. But yeah, apparently these people were living in the hotel, it seemed like, across the street from the racetrack. And
Yeah, one thing I thought was funny was the cop said, yeah, now she's not going to the race tomorrow now. You know, it's like, I don't think she was going to the race, Jack.
Yeah.
I really don't think that was happening.
He also said, here's a 3-year-old that's in for an experience he's never going to forget. And I was like, he's 3 and drunk. He's never going to remember this.
yeah, oh boy.
Yeah.
And
Doesn't
the
get worse. It's just kind of, but you can't wash the depression off from the first portion.
No.
No one wants to see drunk toddlers.
Well, so the second video, it sounds like they're talking about going to 16th and Georgetown, which is like the party part of the city where all the bars and shit are. And it sounds like, oh, we're gonna go there and get into some stuff. And nope,
got our
what
hopes
do?
up.
We go to some fucking department store where these two dickhead security guards, bald-ass motherfuckers with their stupid badges hanging out, get the cops called on 2 teenage girls shoplifting $280 in shitty clothes.
Yeah.
These 2 girls are out there, and they're still, like... They clearly were tailed, and they clearly knew the cops were coming. Why the fuck were you still there? Why were you still in the parking lot?
Yeah, security guard can't chase you. Yeah.
They're in this shitty 80s Chevy Cavalier, and this is 1999. And yeah, like the one girl's 14, and the other girl, I didn't say how old she was, but I can't imagine too much older, old enough to drive. But yeah, she's like, I've never shoplifted before. And of course, I go and do it and get caught. And and they just take the girls downtown. But yeah, those dickhead security guards, like they were the worst.
That guy was real thrilled with his bust. There's no question about that.
There is a whole community of guys that brag about this type of stuff online, and just the worst, almost worse than cops, because they don't have any actual real power, but they act like they have real power.
Cops have some sort of ordainment from... the law, whereas a security guard is just a guy who makes slightly more than the cashiers.
Hired by Macy's.
Yeah.
Yep. The
or
cop
Beals, I would assume, in this case.
Yeah. The cop tells the young girl, the 14-year-old, theft is theft. You're going to juvenile. Like, okay, fucking Barney Fife.
Yeah. They were not going to the race either.
No, I don't think they were going to go to the race even before they got arrested. But
none of these people were. Yeah.
No.
My plea to the owner of this YouTube channel is to take this off your page because it is false advertisement. I wanted to see drunk assholes doing dumb shit outside the track, trying to break into fucking Rick Mears Hall or something.
Well, there was a short portion during this episode where the cops are driving past the speedway and kind of talking about what they're getting into and kind of laying the groundwork. Is like, all right, this might get good. And about the only thing that happens is this convertible full of drunk ass people cuts the cop off, pulling,
and they don't even do anything.
Shirtless.
Yeah, and they just let him go.
Yeah.
And Truelove, you said there was a third part to this that you watched?
Yeah, there's a third part that I found.
You found the third part? I couldn't find the third part.
Yeah, it wasn't on that guy's channel. I don't think it was.
Okay.
But the beginning also starts out like they're cruising down the main strip, like past all the local houses, which get really into it. Like even when I was up there a few weeks ago, we drove by a house that had like all these racing signs out in the yard, and like their garage was open, and you could tell it was just a cool ass bar that they had built in the garage full of all kind of memorabilia.
Yeah.
But the beginning of that episode was him driving down that strip with all the local people, partying in their yards. And then he goes to Pizza Hut to deal with a dispute of a man selling a car to 2 women for $600. And then the lady gets in the car and it won't go in reverse, and she wants her money back. And he was like, I'm not giving you your money back because I told the guy that it doesn't go in reverse. So the cops came and had to sort that out. But the Pizza Hut ladies, they worked at Pizza Hut. I guess they were on their shift break or something dealing with this, but their shirts on the back said, Pizza Hut welcomes race fans. So
I gotta find
I want that. I really want that.
Yeah, so now I'm browsing YouTube to see if there's any cops episodes from Daytona, but I'm not finding anything. There has to be something. I just if I ever find something like this again, I'll make sure it's actually racing related, not just.
Yeah, I mean, your heart was in the right place. Yeah. I feel like this could have been excellent, and it's still an episode of Cops, even though it's probably one of the more depressing ones I've ever seen on account of 2 drunk toddlers hanging out by themselves on a porch. But which in theory could be funny, but it just wasn't. Really sad stuff, but yeah. What do you got for us next week, Brian?
Well, this.
You got any Rob Moroso content you want to throw out here for us?
No. So as I've mentioned on the show, next week, obviously next weekend is going to be my first trip to Iowa. Mm-hmm. I'll be going to the Cup race, the Xfinity race, and the Knoxville 360 Nationals. So for the video of the week, I picked a TNN broadcast of the 2000 Knoxville Nationals. It's a full broadcast with commercials and everything. It's an hour long, so
Fuck.
that will be.
I think Rob might not be.
I'll watch it and send you my notes.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Yep. So that's the video of the week this week. As mentioned, the NASCAR world is in Indy this weekend. There is some sprint car race happening at Wayne County this weekend. I'm debating going to. We'll see what the weather's like. So maybe I'll do that. But Rob, you're not doing any racing stuff. Truelove, you doing any racing stuff this weekend?
Nope. I'll just be at home crying about turning 40.
It ain't too
It's your
bad.
birthday this weekend.
It ain't too bad, bud.
I mean, whatever. We're
Just
all
more of the same.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll be 42 in a couple months, and that depresses me. So, don't feel
R.I.P.
too bad.
But no racing.
I'm looking up what's at Wayne County here. Let's see what's in store.
It
for
was
you.
some sprint car tour that I've never heard of, but it seemed like
Oh,
a
the
bigger
Fast
than-
on Dirt sprints. Yeah, that's one of the
Yeah.
series that I think came out of the All Stars falling apart and kind of breaking apart the Ohio scenes. That'd be pretty cool.
Does anybody big run that?
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure Cap Henry will be there or some shit.
I'll look it up, but I'm debating if I think it might rain this weekend, so we'll see what happens. So with that, as always, you can follow us on Instagram at meetmeatapplebees, on Twitter at meetmeatapplebees. I am Speedway Screens on all of the things. SpeedwayTSJ.etsy.com is the shop, and MMA Applebees at checkout for 15% off.
It's still Snake Mountain _ Truelove. I am asking for a Kasey Kahne Crockpot for my birthday, so if anyone has one they want to give me.
Does that exist?
That's
I mean,
what I
I know
want.
I've seen
It
NASCAR
does.
Crockpots.
Does
I've
exist.
never seen a
Yeah.
Kasey Kahne
Yep.
one. I'm gonna look up and see how much it is on eBay right now.
I don't have a
I can only
Crockpot.
find a Tony Stewart one on eBay for $50, so I don't want that. I want the Kasey Kahne.
I don't have a Kasey Kahne Crockpot, but I do have a
I found one. It's
Pez dispenser.
I found one. It's $32.
On eBay?
Yeah,
Damn.
they spelled Kane wrong. That's why.
Oh.
That's good stuff. Yeah, I got a Pez dispenser I'll send you if you want a Kasey Kahne. Something to eat out of that's Kasey Kahne related. It still has the Pez inside of it. So, Rob Motes _ unofficial on Instagram. My band is called These Wild Plains. I'm also behind the kit for Charlie Marie, and we're going to Finland and Sweden coming up here. I've already said it on the show. I fly out tomorrow. That's why we're doing the episode early, and I don't know if I'll be here next week, but I'm sure these guys will have something cooked up nice for you if I can't make it. I'll text them my rants and thoughts and whatever comes up. But
It's going to be 20 minutes of a voice note from me on myself.
talking about a race that I want to watch. But yeah, again, I know nobody from Scandinavia listens to this show, but if you happen to be in the area, come check it out. I'm really excited to play these shows. I've never played in. I played in Sweden years and years ago, but never been to Finland, never really seen Stockholm or anything north of Malmo in Sweden. So I'm very, very excited, and I'm very much looking forward to playing with Uncle Lucius and Myron Elkins up in Finland. That's going to be cool. And again, apparently there's some dirt racing guys in that crew. I know Ricky's going to be out there, so I'm excited to maybe catch the PDC over breakfast. Hopefully they make it there in time. But yeah, again, hopefully you have some U.S. shows coming up. You can see our road show at a more convenient location than the woods of Finland. But if you happen to be out there, come say what's up. And yeah, shout out to whoever fills in for me next week if I can't make it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
I
And
still
with
can't
that,
find this crock pot. I just
I'm
see
gonna-
Carl Edwards.
Casey Kane.
I'm going to send it to you right now.
It's just a Casey Kasem crock pot.
Listen, you think I'm not going to know what I'm looking at here? Come on. I'm the eBay master. Of course I'm going to find it. Cool. Well, with that, the check is here and the Crockpot's heating up. So thanks for joining us again at Applebee's, and we'll talk to y'all next week.
What a cool Applebee's that'll let us plug our own shit in here and cook some beanie weenies up.